hello everyone. This is the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship from the windy circuit of Le Mans. It's good to be back here in France. It's good to be back for round number 7 of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. We do have 5 minutes delay, but nothing to bother, nothing to worry about. This is why you can see the pace truck already is on his way, and we do see soon the lineup. Just some quick information, we do have a lucky pole for André Kurzem due to a 10 seconds penalty for José Rodriguez. So he finished right now under official circumstances on a P8, André Kurzem, and now of course it's reverse grid time. He's starting from number P1. As you can see, the gate right now is open. Let's go onto the grid, and we do not see any trucks yet, as I said, due to a small delay of 5 minutes. But what we can show you is how this gate is going to be opened. A bit difficult there, isn't it? Not so easy sometimes, but those marshals are doing a great job here, not only in the Mans. We are very grateful for all the helping hands. We do see them, for example, organize some smashed penalty markers, for example, in race number 1. Speaking of race number 1, lots of highlights we already had on this race weekend this Saturday. So let's have a look at the highlights of race number 1.
Yes, indeed. Thank you very much, Christina. It was a wonderful start to the day, and the sun has been out today as well. That's the thing with Le Mans. You never know when you come here what the weather's going to be like. It can very often be a very, very wet weekend. Norbert Kish led the race from the very start. André Kurzem and Steffi Halm had a difficult start to their race, and it would not get any better for Steffi Halm with big contact later on in the race as well. Jamie Anderson was on fire coming through the order to eventually win the Promoters' Cup. Jochen Hahn had a bit of a tough race where he didn't seem to have the pace to get up to the top 3, and he made the odd little mistake here and there, which just kept him behind Antonio Albacete, who chased down Sasha Lenz in his own right. It was great to see Jamie back on form as well, battling hard with Theo Calve, and it was a nice clean move that would eventually decide it. But there were battles and contact and scuffles all the way through the order once more, while at the very front it was Norbert Kish who would do an amazing job once more to take the outright victory. That's not without all the battling going on behind though, and it was just another win for Norby. A very simple first race of the day. 13 wins so far this season, and he's going to try and make it another one as we head into the afternoon. Back to you, Christina.
Thank you very much. What a season this is so far for Norby Kish. Those are the signs. Very interesting to see. This is the 10 minutes boards. And I lost my connection to the director. Doesn't matter. So 10 minutes boards over here. And we do see in French, it's evacuation. We don't want to see that. The clear of the grid. This is important. As you can see, the 1 minute board. Then you need to focus. Everyone, can I put it out? I'm not getting angry about it then. So 1 minute left due to our delay, because we had 5 minutes delay, but right now we do see the pace truck and the Ford F-Max truck already here on the grid, Chaz. So I better put this back.
Yes, indeed. That's it. Some of the drivers will take that quite literally if the 1 minute board does pop up, whether it be by the side of the wall or whether it's in the middle of the road. There you see the official truck, the Ford F-Max 2019 International Truck of the Year, making its way to the grid, and our beautiful bio-LNG powered Iveco S-Way, often driven by Frank the Tank, the legend that is Frank. We're on board essentially here with Lewis, who's going to try and give us a bit of a view of Frank. Hopefully doesn't get clattered by an opening door. I'm sure Frank will give us a wave if anything else. It's gorgeous to see this wonderful Iveco as our pace truck for the championship. Great looking machine. Fantastic blue colour scheme on it as well. All metallic. Looks very tasty indeed. Quick nod from one of the top guys here that we have at the FIA. It's always good to have the FIA on board. All of their officials and stewards are always good fun, believe it or not. Obviously, they all have to be very serious and very switched on to all of the action over the course of the weekend, but we do have a very good time behind the scenes. Fantastic turnout by the fans as well this weekend. It's great to have so many people up here in the grandstands. I can see them all from my commentary box. And we have, as you see there, Frank the Tank with Christina.
Yes, his surname is not the Tank, it's Frank Felton. Good to see you again, driving, of course, the pace truck here in legendary Le Mans. Wie ist denn das eigentlich hier in Le Mans, die auf dem Kurs zu fahren?
Bitte wiederholen, war jetzt so leise gewesen.
Wie ist es hier zu fahren in Le Mans?
Ja, im Trocken auf jeden Fall angenehmer wie im Nassen. Heute Morgen war es ein bisschen rutschig gewesen, aber es ist schon ein Erlebnis. Es ist schon eine tolle Rennstrecke.
So it's absolutely amazing driving here at Le Mans. It was a bit slippery this morning because we had lots of rain last evening, but right now the track dries and it's easier. Was meinst du, was ist die schwierigste Stelle für alle, die fahren?
Die schwierigste Stelle wird die Kehre sein, die so ein bisschen abfällt. Das ist die Kurve hinter dem Dunlopbogen. Da wird es ein bisschen schwieriger. Die anderen sind relativ leicht. Also ja, kommt auf die Geschwindigkeit an, klar.
So he said it's going to be difficult for the drivers behind the chicane and the Dunlop turn. This is where it is very interesting for all the drivers, but the rest, he says, is easy peasy. Of course, Frankie's driving in all the racetracks and he's with us whole season. Du fährst ja die ganze Saison mit uns mit. Wir sind jetzt gerade bei der vorletzten Runde. Gab es für dich jetzt schon so ein Highlight?
Ja, eigentlich hat jede Rennstrecke seine Vorzüge und die besonderen Highlights gibt es eigentlich überall. Jetzt besteht die Vorfreude auf Jarama und dann ist man schon wieder ein bisschen traurig, weil die Saison dann schneller vorbei war als gedacht. Und dann freut man sich wieder aufs nächste Jahr.
Vielen herzlichen Dank dir,
Sehr
Frank.
gerne.
So he's there with us throughout the season. He said every racetrack has got something to cheer about. And of course, he's also looking forward to Jarama, which will be our last race event weekend this year. And then there's a small tear in his eye because that in Jarama, it will be the last weekend, as I said. And then we need to say goodbye until next season. But until then, Chaz and Joachim, lots of races ahead of us.
Yes, still 6 races left in this championship after this one as well. It's going to be very interesting to see how the points cascade one way and then the other. A very brave Marshall there stands in front of Theo Calve's Bagheera ZM Racing Freightliner. And of course the team instantly on the scene to try and give Theo a hand and go through any preparation that they might need to ahead of the race. Don't let that grey sky in the background fool you though. It's gorgeous conditions here at Le Mans. There's a lot of cloud in the air, but the sun seems to break through it no matter what, and there is thumbs up from one of the Bagheera team members there. I don't touch racing as well, and I'm at that point actually where I'm sat in the commentary box just in that building on the left hand side that you see there with all of the big glass windows. I'm actually sat up there near the start finish line, and the sun is actually getting to a point where it's blinding me from directly in front. And I can tell you it's nice and warm, so I might even get a tan over the course of this broadcast. We'll have to wait and see. So there is Adam Lachko, teammate to Theo Calve. It's his birthday today, so I'm sure he's enjoying his birthday. Racing on your birthday is never a bad thing. Certainly an exciting day all the same. It's not often that racing drivers have their birthdays come around on a race day. But Norbert Kish is going to be starting from P8 in this race. They reverse the top 8 positions on the grid after race 1 based on the result. And as you heard rightly from Christina, Jose Rodriguez had a penalty which dropped him down a couple of places, so he will not start on pole position and he's down inside the top 10. Someone who's right in the thick of it though is Adam Lachko, and he's with Christina for an interview on his birthday as well.
Yes, since you've been talking about the birthday, I thought maybe we should congratulate Adam Lachko again. Please have a chat first. You are? No. So it's the birthday boy. How many candles have we already on the cake for you?
Oh.
It's P5.
P5 and candles 38.
I know, 38 candles is years, but some many points maybe for you this weekend. We're really looking forward for race number 2 here at Le Mans. The track is drier than it has been this morning. What do you think about race number 2? It's always really nice seeing overtaking, clean overtaking.
Yeah, we see on the last weekend in Zolder, it's many action on the second race every time, and it's very hard to say before the race how we finish. And I hope I finish on the podium.
Well, that would be really nice for you, of course, a present for you. Your family is with you all the weekend. How great is it that they're always by your side?
Yeah, we try all season go together, all family, and it's perfect because we like it, like children also me. We like it the racing, and we are happy when we're together.
Thank you very much, Adam Lachko. So we also see his son always on a scooter. He's a race driver as well. So, Adam Lachko, birthday boy, back to you, Chaz.
Thank you very much, Christina. And yeah, it's really nice to hear that Adam always has his family with him at race events, and it can make a big difference to a driver's confidence and the way that they approach a race weekend. You know, to have family and people close around you at an event like this, you know, it feels like you have the emotional support, and it makes a big difference. It really does. So it's important for the drivers to make sure that wherever they can, they of course accommodate family and friends. Now there is a man with lots of friends indeed, Jochen Hahn. He's a real trooper, is Jochen, 6-time champion of the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. One of the funniest blokes I've ever met, honestly. He has a fantastic sense of humour and a really neutral mindset as well when it comes to the racing. It's often a word that I do throw around with Jochen, but he's been around the block and he knows how the racing goes and how a race weekend can progress. So he's always got every scenario in his mind, and he knows exactly how it can all pan out. Just looking up and down the grid at the moment, and I can see that we have Andre Curzum and Theo Calvé on the front row ready for action around this gorgeous Le Mans Bugatti circuit. It's a real gem on our calendar. It's a very difficult circuit as well, it has to be said. Through Dunlop Curve into the Dunlop chicane, the drivers have to be so careful about the weight transfer of the truck, flinging it around a right-hander at 100 miles an hour to then try and straighten it up onto the brakes into a chicane, where again they have to think about weight transfer. Is a big challenge. And then the chicane, the S du Garage Bleu at the end of the lap as well, as we saw for Norbert Kish, even on a cool down lap when he's doing a bit of drifting, can sometimes be a little bit much, but still a very tricky circuit, this one. Very windy first sector, and then near the end of the lap some very challenging corners that you need to really commit to and carry a lot of speed throughout as well. I've been told we have Christina for another interview. She's near the pole sitter for this race, which is Andre Curzum.
Yeah, the lucky pole setter. As you can see, don't touch racing, nearly no marks on this truck. Let's have a look, Sven Walter. Andre, hättet ihr kurz Zeit? Yep.
Interview.
Yep. Second interview this time für Andre Curzum. Lucky pole setter. Aber am Ende ist es doch egal, wie man hierher gekommen ist, oder? Finally, doesn't matter how to get to the pole, isn't it?
Yes, Rodriguez get the penalty, a 10-second penalty. Now we are on the 8th position, pole position for the second race today. Yes, hopefully we can get a nice podium today, and yes, we will see.
But you've got Theo Calvé right beside you. It's really difficult racing against him. How do you will manage that he will not overtake you?
Yes, I know the Bagheeras behind me, they will push me every time. I think they want to will the lead, and yes, I have to look in my mirrors, and yes, we have to manage the first corner, and then we will see what happens.
Thank you very much. Always have a look at the mirrors. Let's have a look here at the mirror. Close the door, and yeah, up there. Too small. I'm too small for that. Chaz.
Yeah, that's the thing. No matter what, I mean, these trucks are still very big racing machines. You can see the height difference to the Iveco S-Way compared to Theo Calvé and Andre Curzum's trucks on the front row. As we see here, it is Andre Curzum on the left-hand side of the grid, the outside for turn 1, but the inside for turn 2, alongside Theo Calvé. It's going to be a very interesting grid for later in the race when people start to make progress. We then have Jamie Anderson and Adam Latchko. Jamie actually had quite a lot of damage to the front left of his truck after the first race. He's going to be hoping that he can sort that one out, and obviously the repairs that were going on were due to that. Jochen Hahn, and next up alongside Antonio Alberthetti on row 3. T-Sport. But now, guys, we're happy with the podium after that first race. It's always good to get Antonio back on the podium once again. He's always very welcome on a podium, is Antonio. He's got a lot of them. I think out of everybody on the grid, he has the most podiums out of anybody in the championship. That is his 277th podium in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. It's pretty remarkable. We have Shane Brereton and Stefan Faas, by the way, on the next row of the grid. And then we have Jose Rodriguez starting a bit further down the order after getting a penalty a little bit earlier on. He's going to be alongside John Newell. And then we have Heinrich Clemens Hecker and Steffi Halm, both of them having a lively race one. And someone that had a bit of a lonely race one until he caught Sasha Lenz was Antonio Alberthetti, and he is with Christina.
Yes, of course, but he enjoyed the podium, of course, after race number 1. How was the race in total for you?
Well, I think it was a good race. I mean, the first 2-3 laps I was not very comfortable, but since then I start to catching a little bit Chacha, so I was able to catch him. I was trying to push for him to make a mistake, but then in the last 3 laps, I don't know, maybe I overheat too much the rear tires, and I have some problems with the rear, so I couldn't push him too much. So, but third place for us is good. I mean, the team is happy. I am happy. So, it's a good place after what we have in the past races.
Absolutely. You needed to change a lot at the last races. A whole engine swap, for example. I saw the crane back this morning, I think. So, lots of changes again this weekend.
No, they have to take out the gearbox because they have to check something also on the engine. But I mean, for the moment, everything is okay. So, I hope we can stay like this all the weekend.
Thank you very much. Fingers crossed that everything is in place, but he's always there. Thank you very much for holding the door, Tim Frost.
Antonio!
Tim Frost is an absolute legend, isn't he? Such a character. I actually went and had a chat with him between the races as well. And he was in good spirits, and he just said that the end of that last race was very nerve-wracking for him and the team because they were just scared that eventually the truck might have broken down or had a problem. They've not had the most reliable of trucks all season, to be fair to them, and any moment like that is quite the scary one. So for them to get through the race without any major issues was obviously a bonus, and to get the podium in that as well was very, very rewarding for the team. There we look inside Norbert Kisch's beautiful red MAN Baloo, and get a good look at Norby, who gives us a quick wave and a thumbs up as well. He's got plenty of team members, fans and friends all around him, and he's a very well supported driver in this championship, and rightly so as well. Triple champion already in this series. He's on the brink of winning his 4th title. He's going to be one of the first drivers in history to do 4. There's not many that have got more than that. And we go back down very quickly to Christina.
Yes, and what a shame for José Rodrigues after a 10 seconds penalty. He should have been on P number 8 after the first race, so pole position right now. He is not. O que aconteceu? What happened?
Portanto, eu tive overspeed. O GPS não está a funcionar bem no fim de semana. E a única volta que funcionou deu pico de overspeed e foi penalizado 10 segundos. É pena.
So he said he's had an overspeeding, the GPS was not working right, lost the communication. This is why, he's now had to pay with this 10-second penalty. Que pena, mas ainda tem a possibilidade de ultrapassar alguém. But still there is the chance to overtake someone.
Vou tentar fazer a melhor prova possível para ver se recupero algum lugar.
Desculpa, outra vez?
Vou tentar fazer a melhor prova possível, ver se consigo recuperar algum lugar agora.
Obrigada. So he says he's trying his best, of course, and maybe get one space before him. So that would be there.
Yeah, it's always tough when you get a penalty in these races, and obviously as a racing driver it can be very difficult to accept that, but the rules are the rules, and sometimes the technology that helps enforce these rules doesn't always work as intended, but it's technology at the end of the day, and we do have to rely on it sometimes for statistics and other regulations as well. A quick thumbs up there from Stefan Fass in his number 24 machine, and there is the massive 13-litre 6-cylinder turbocharged engine on the back of his wonderful machine. And there you go, we power your way is the slogan all over the Tank Pool 24 machines. There's even a little Fleischi sticker on the back there, our good mate Fleischi at Vega Solutions. There's Jane, bless her, having a fantastic time on the grid. Jane is one of the real stars of the paddock. She's such an amazing character, always a good laugh. And there's Fleischi himself as well, speak of the devil, flipping heck. We look here at Shane Brayton's truck number 17. He's not had the season that he wanted so far. He's still up there in the Promoters' Cup as reigning champion as well, but to be honest, it's not been as straightforward recently. He's mentioned an engine issue with his MAN has been causing him a lot of trouble with the throttle, so he's either got 0% throttle or 100%, and in between there seems to be a lot of spiking in the throttle, and the engine just completely, it's almost like it redlines, it peaks and then drops and peaks and drops, and obviously that upsets the traction and the balance of the truck. Here's a good look inside though at all the wonderful components and the framework inside these machines. They're so accessible. When you do walk around them in the paddock and have a good look, it's amazing the size of every nut and bolt. Everything is just blown up in scale. in this huge way. And it's just great because you can sometimes see the drivers and teams working on the trucks, and they are all stood almost inside the frame of them. We have some cleanup operation going on here, and that is in front of where Jamie Anderson's truck was. It's been pushed back a little bit so they can sort this out. Now, the front left was being worked on earlier, thanks to Alice, who sent me the information over before and said that she nearly tripped over somebody's legs because it looked like Jamie Anderson's truck had basically run over somebody. But there was a big crack in the brake disc of Jamie Anderson's front left after that first race. I went and saw Jamie straight after, and it was the first thing he showed me. And yeah, it was absolutely monstrous, the crack. He didn't know when or what had caused it, really, but he said that he definitely felt it go partway through the race. And when you see the size of the damage, it's quite remarkable. And I'll actually put a picture of it on my Twitter a little bit later on after the race in case anyone wanted to see it. But we have our Ford F-Max inspection lap flying around right now, and actually Christina has an update for us from Jamie.
Yes, and it's not me giving the update, but Jamie Anderson, of course. Whoa, lots of things to do. What happened?
Yeah, it seems that we've created a fuel leak, and the guys who just spotted it when they're checking it on the starting grid here was very lucky. Let's hope that that's the only drama we have and we can have a good race.
Yeah. The brake disc broke, but it did not cause the further problems?
Yeah, I knew we had a broken brake disc during the race, but you know, we had a good race and there was nothing to complain about. You know, we had a problem, we just drove through it. We don't whinge about things like that, we just carry on.
Those 20 centimeters that you needed to back up right now, does they matter?
They will do in the race, that's for sure.
Thank you very much. So as you can see, he needed to back up a bit to keep the floor clean and nice. Cheers.
Yes, indeed. And every centimetre counts when you're a racing driver. They are such competitive people. But, of course, with our rolling starts, Jamie will not really have to worry about that too much. But interesting that the problem was a fuel leak rather than something else that had been worked on based on the brake disc. And not sure whether when it cracked or broke, whether some debris or pieces from it moved up and in around the other components, of course, in that area of the truck. And that could have been what caused it. But you never know. It's hard to often diagnose these things. But as Jamie said, very lucky that they mentioned it and noticed it so quickly. And hats off to the team for being able to fix it. So fingers crossed for him. That is not the only drama, or it is the only drama they have. Here's our Ford F-Max continuing its inspection lap. I can't get my words out today. With the wonderful Ralph Greger driving this gorgeous blue machine. This truck had over 15,000 hours of lab testing and 5 million kilometres of road testing to make it and develop it and make it what it is today. And that's, of course, why it won the International Truck of the Year award in 2019. It's a truck that's also used in the French Truck Racing Championship as their pace truck as well. So clearly a good bit of kit. We look at some very good bits of kit here as the grid gets cleared. All of the personnel make their way behind the barriers. And all of the teams spread out to their necessary pit boxes wherever they may be in the pit lane. 30-second board has gone out and the gates will be closed now. They're very beefy and sturdy gates. And there is your grid. Teo Calve on the inside line is actually second on the grid to Andre Kurzim, because if you go into the chicane and you carry the speed around the outside, of course you'll have the inside line for that chicane. And that is where the advantage from being on pole position comes from. So Andre Kurzim, once again this season, leads us away from the line, and it's actually, I think, going to be his third or even fourth pole position this season from reverse grids. That gorgeous pace truck you see at the front, though, the Iveco S-Way, beautiful machine, is powered by bio-LNG. It's got these humongous bio-LNG tanks on the side of it, but the emissions are reduced by up to 95% from this incredible machine based on any other forms of diesel engines or traditional diesel engines, and it makes a lot less noise, but it's still got the power and torque of any other truck around that sort of specification. And they've got some AC/DC playing around the circuit while the trucks make their way around. And I said this at the last race meeting at Zolder when they played Thunderstruck. I'm not quite sure why it's always AC/DC, but whoever decided has clearly got good music taste. There's a lot of championships around the world that play a certain song when it comes around to green flag time or green flag laps. But I think we have probably one of the best in the world listening to AC/DC. So, I'll quickly run you through the grid once more. It's Andre Kurzim and Theo Calve on the front row. Second row is going to be Jamie Anderson and Adam Lachko, which means that the two Bagheera ZM Racing Freightliners are inside the top 4. Then it is Jochen Hahn alongside Antonio Alberthetti. The old boys, as Jochen dubbed them here last year, after a fantastic couple of races. Then we have Sasha Lenz alongside championship leader and potential champion Norbert Kish. Then it's Shane Brereton and Stefan Faust rounding out your top 10. Jose Rodriguez next up alongside John Newell. I caught up with John between races, as I said I would. And it was great also to see Stuart Oliver here as well. He's another driver from the British Truck Racing Championship, and he's enjoying being part of the paddock once again. He was saying that there's so many people that were, when he raced in the European Truck Racing Championship, there are so many people that are still here and still working in different respects. He mentioned Tim Frost especially as well, who used to work for him. And now, of course, Tim heads up the T-Sport Bernau squad. And it is awesome to see that there are so many faces in the paddock that have been around for a long time. And the one truck family mantra really does carry on through. Back row of the grid is going to be Heinrich Clemens Hecker and Steffi Halm, who luckily has got the damage from the first race fixed. And I'm sure she'll be maybe giving Heinrich Clemens Hecker a little bit more space and keeping him at least at arm's length during the start of this one. Maybe a bit of a nerve-wracking time when you've had an incident and contact with a driver in the first race and then have to start with them in the second race, of course. On board with Steffi now from the back of the grid. She's certainly got a lot to look at in front and a lot to focus on, even in the cab as well, making some final adjustments before the race gets underway. And there are Norbert Kish and Sasha Lenz side by side, about to do battle once more. Norby took his 13th race win of the season and his 76th win in his career in the last race. And behind him, Sasha Lenz has only 2 race wins this year, but 16 podium finishes. Jochen Hahn also has 2 race wins and another 15 podium finishes, actually. That just shows you the dominance of Norbert Kish this season, though. The driver with the second most race wins this year is actually Jamie Anderson. He has 4 race wins outright. Norbert Kish has 13. It's remarkable. Anyway, into the final couple of corners we go then. It's going to be Andre Kurzim on the left-hand side of the grid in the Iveco. Then it's going to be Theo Calve on the right-hand side in the Freightliner. Behind them on the second row of the grid, Jamie Anderson's MAN and Adam Lachko's Freightliner as well. But the second race of the weekend at Le Mans in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship is underway, and I can tell you from looking out of the window it has not been a solid start by Jamie Anderson. Adam Lachko gets away well and tucks right in behind his teammate Theo Calve, who has got the run on Andre Kurzim, and he's going to be completely in front, is he, by the time they go around the Dunlop curve? Is he going to try and defend on the inside line as they go into the chicane? I'm not sure he's going to block him off. Sasha Lenz is on the gravel and he's going to struggle to get that stopped, and I really hope there's not further contact. And he's been completely sideways in front of the pack. I didn't see if there was any contact further back. Oh, he's been caught up with a couple of them. John Newell, Shane Brereton and Jose Rodriguez involved in that one. Now hopefully they can all get away from that. Oh, there's more contact. And there's sparks from Antonio Alberthetti's truck, and he's gone straight into Adam Lachko, who's gone around. And is he going to get clipped by anybody else? There is another truck involved, and that was Steffi Halm. And Antonio Alberthetti completely sideways. Heinrich Clemens Hecker manages to miss him. And it's still Theo Calve at the front, leading from Andre Kurzim. Jamie Anderson now looks down the inside as they go through Virage du Musée. Nearly leans on him. That was a very, very messy start, but Sasha Lenz was way, way around the outside. I'm not sure whether he got pushed out there by somebody else, but obviously struggled to get the truck stopped to that point, and there was 3 others at least involved. Now, I haven't seen any of them that were involved continue on and actually get through the first sector. There's Fabien Calve and also Javier Martin as well from Goodyear. I think we have Ralph Gregor in the background there waving and laughing away, bless him. He's a top character as well. And I've heard, and according to the official timing, there is gravel in chicane at turn 3, so that's the exit of the chicane. Now, yeah, Brereton, Rodriguez, Lenz, Alberthetti and Newell are up on the timing screen as Jamie Anderson and Andre Kurzim and Norbert Kish are all right together through the chicane. Jamie's trying to get his elbows out and get these moves done early on, and Andre Kurzim is just trying to defend it. There's not enough room for Jamie to come back on. There's a bit of a lock-up, and Norbert Kish somehow already up into 4th place, and now he's going to make that 3rd. Andre Kurzim says, stuff these bollards, they can absolutely do one, and off they go, getting completely flattened. But wow, what a busy first lap that is, and it's Theo Calve leading his home race. There's one of Shane's team just on the radio to him asking what's going on. Whoa, Jamie Anderson has a piece of bodywork fly off. Big evasive action by Jochen Hahn. That looked even more dramatic out of the window than it did on your screen, I can tell you that for free. Theo Calvé leads, Jamie Anderson second, then it's Norbert Kish, Andre Kurzim, Stefan Faas up in 5th, then it's Jochen Hahn, Adam Lachko, Heinrich Clemens Hecker, Steffi Halm and Shane Brayton currently classified in 10th, but you can see all of the gravel and the debris that is down there at the first chicane from Sascha Lenz having that big off. Now here, look at it again. So Sascha Lenz is way out wide, and don't think there was contact, you know. And he's just completely sideways on the way in, and by the look of it, the trucks that were sideways further back were Jose Rodriguez and John Newell and Shane Brayton, and then you can see that Steffi Halm and Heinrich Clemens Hecker have to take avoiding action. Now there were sparks already from the front end, I believe, of Antonio Albertetti's truck. Fantastic evasive action by Steffi Halm there to slam on the brakes and get out of the way, and how nobody else hit Antonio there, I do not know. Remarkable driving. Now Jochen Hahn is ahead of Stefan Faas. He's trying to go after fellow Iveco driver Andre Kurzim, who's down to 4th position already, and apparently there is no further action to be taken after that incident. Very interesting indeed. It seemed like there was no direct cause, no contact that threw Sascha Lenz off the road. It was just an innocent mistake at the end of the day. Just went a little bit too hot into the Dunlop curve. And Antonio Albertetti, after starting the weekend with a podium and a really positive result, is now in the pits, I'm afraid. I think that John Newell might have been in the pits as well, you know. On my timing screen here, he's showing us behind Antonio Albertetti. I think he may have just continued on from the rest of it. Now, it's an incident in turn 6 under investigation. Whoa, Stefan Faas runs very wide out of the final corner. Adam Lachko then takes advantage, goes down the inside. There's a bit of a rub as they come out of the last corner. Now, Adam has got barely any bodywork on the front of his truck, and I do not actually know where that has ended up going. Whether that was because of the contact with Antonio that put him sideways, maybe it came off with other contact. I don't remember him getting hit at the front. I have to have a look back. Here's a look back at Stefan Faas going way out wide. He goes around the penalty markers though, which is a fair effort, to be honest with you. And then has him down the inside, and then Stefan makes sure that he doesn't hit the penalty marker, so just tucks it in through the final corner. So Theo Calvé, he was mentioning that he had trouble with the steering in the first race earlier. He's going to be hoping that the same problems do not persist, but he's got his Promoters Cup rival right behind him. Jamie Anderson all over the back of him, looks down the inside into Virage de Musée. Theo leaves him the space, only just, look at that, they're barely touching. Now Norbert Kish sees an advantage and he says, right, I'm going to try and go down there, try and squeeze through down the inside. They're almost 3 wide as they come into Garage Vert. Double right-hander. Theo gets it stopped, Jamie gets it stopped, Norby gets it stopped. Nice tidy stuff from all 3 of them. They need to be very careful at this point. All 3 of them are fighting for championships essentially. Norby only has to score a handful of points really tomorrow over Jochen Hahn and Sascha Lenz to completely wrap up the title. Now I've been sent once again the footage of the start from on board, thanks to the Sensata Smart Witness cameras that are used for the judicial reviews in the championship. And they've given me just a nice idea of what's gone on at turn 1, and it does look like there was contact between Shane Brayton and Sascha Lenz. However, they were 3 wide, and I don't think Sascha knew they were 3 wide. And then actually Sascha did not hit any of them when it came to the chicane, so luckily I think they got away with what could have been a major incident, but Shane had to jump out of the way in evasive action, and I think in doing that, that's when he's clipped John Newell and spun him around, and then Jose spun in avoidance as well. Across the line they go once more then, after my very broken explanation of the accident. Theo Calvé leads the race, Jamie Anderson second, defending from Norbert Kish, who's on the verge of becoming the champion tomorrow. Jochen Hahn next up, then Andre Kurzim. Stefan Faas is 6th and 3rd in the Promoters Cup, so he's on for a podium. Then it's Adam Lachko, Steffi Halm, Heinrich Clemens Hecker, Shane Brayton rounding out the top 10. Sascha Lenz is 11th, so he's out with the points. Then we have Jose Rodriguez and then John Newell. Antonio Albertetti is apparently in the pits still, but I think he might have actually gone back out, you know. depends on the timing screen that I'm looking at. They tell me different things at the moment, I'm afraid. We've got some black and white flags, as you saw briefly a moment ago. We've had one for Andrej Kurzim, Jamie Anderson, and for Stefan Faas, all for track limits in either turn 16 or turn 14 or turn 6. A lot to try and keep my eye on here at the moment. Now, Antonio Albertetti and Adam Lachko are apparently being investigated for their start, so we will be having a look. And Jamie Anderson has got Norbert Kish down his inside for second place. He's going to go through at Garage Vet, and considering we're only on lap 4 out of 11, Norbert Kish is surely going to try and win this race outright and win both races on the day. I've had it confirmed by Christina, who's down there in the pit lane, that Antonio Albertetti is on the track, so thank you, Christina. This is the beauty of my job, honestly. Everybody just tells me everything. I get all the information I need, and I love it. I love it. But Teo Calve, he's going to be hoping there's no information in his mirror right now, because he's got Promoters Cup rival Jamie Anderson right behind him, and then champion to be, effectively, Norbert Kish. He's going to be hoping to keep it clean, much like the HVO diesel that all of our trucks run on. 100% renewable it is. Hydro-treated vegetable oil diesel. It's phenomenal. Wonderful to have biofuels in a championship such as this that could then stretch into industry as well. You know, it just shows that the sustainability of not just the championship can affect the actual industry itself as well. Teo Calve getting urged on by the fans in the grandstand. Jamie Anderson right behind him, and Norbert Kish trying to pile the pressure on, and it's epic watching them pile past this window here in the commentary box. The speed that they do down the start-finish straight is amazing. They very quickly reach 100 miles an hour, 160 kilometers an hour, which is where they are governed and limited. Looked like Teo Calve struggled through that first chicane a little bit there. It looks like Norbert Kish is not struggling one bit to try and get on board with Jamie Anderson here. Now he knows that Jamie's going to be a bit slower on the inside to check up and make sure he doesn't hit Teo Calve, but Jamie gets the pace off the corner, you know, slots back in front of Norby. Norbert's going to be just trying to take the pressure off Teo Calve a little bit here, maybe to make his life a bit easier with Jamie. Jamie's got quite a bit of damage on the right hand side of that truck as well, quite a lot of bodywork missing. But still a fantastic scrap between the top three here. There's a lot of fans opposite me in the grandstands, and you can see that they are just itching to have them come back into view and see what order they're in again. There is a big screen as well off at the end of the straight, which everybody's watching. They're all keeping their eyes on it. It's great to have the big screens at these circuits as well, so everybody, no matter where they are on the track, can keep an eye on the action. It's not just from a live feed for me. And there you go, Heinrich Clementecker and Jamie Anderson apparently having no further action. I don't remember them making contact, but we'll go with it. And you can see behind Adam Lachko all over the back of Andrej Kurzim, covering the back of that Iveco, trying very hard to get through. Keep your eye on Jochen Hahn as well, by the way, just behind this trio. There he is in the white and blue number 4. 6-time champion is certainly sure of what he's doing right now. We've had a black and white flag for Shane Brayton for track limits in turn 6. Seems that turn 6 is a real talking point for track limits. And there's the pit lane view of how fast these trucks come flying past you down the start-finish straight. Lovely stuff. I believe captured by our wonderful Mike Fow. And still Teo Calve leads. Still Jamie Anderson is second, and still Norbert Kish is third. It's a bit of a stalemate going on between them at the moment. Position gained or lost. Bit of a moment there for Teo Calve as he dives one way then the other. Skims the left rear wheel over the gravel. I want to say as well just how crazy it is that the time flies by. And there is Antonio Albertetti back into the pits now. Obviously he had a big old moment earlier on in the race, so maybe he was just back out there on the track to see whether they could find out what was wrong with the truck. We've got Tim Frost there and Tom as well, Big Tom. You could see just then, look at that, Tim moving the steering, how much the truck moves around because of the way that the caster angle works on the setup of these trucks. The wheels really lean in and out of the corners quite a lot because of their sheer size, and it rocks the truck back and forth if you just steer on the spot like that. Now we've got a quartet here, and if I'm honest with you, I wouldn't like to see all 4 of them sing together in a barbershop, but it's Jochen Hahn chasing Norbert Kish, chasing Jamie Anderson, chasing Teo Calve. Not sure they would be the most coordinated barbershop either in the world, but still, that's left for you to imagine. Both of them, and I mean both pairs, fighting in their own respect for championships. Theo Calvé and Jamie Anderson first and second in the Promoters' Cup, then Norbert Kisch and Jochen Hahn first and second in the overall championship, the Titan class as we call it. And there is a sorry sight. Antonio returning to the paddock. The race is done for the T-Sport Bernau squad. Now Jamie was very close to Theo a moment ago, and as we see on board here with Norbert Kisch, he's all of a sudden dropped back a little bit. And look at this from Norbert Kisch, look at that camera angle in the top right. All of that section, one-handed, all the way through. Watching go up the gears now as they go down the straight. Or maybe not. Makes a few adjustments as he goes down towards the Dunlop curve. He looks very comfortable doing what he's doing, doesn't he, Norbert Kisch? You can see the fact that they were in quite a high gear, even when they came out of the corner, just to minimise any wheel spin, make sure that you get the most traction out of it. At the end of the day, you can only get up to 100 miles an hour, 160 kilometres an hour, so there's no point trying to overdo that and push past that limit that you've got. There's your race leader though, Theo Calvé. Theo, a very young French superstar. He's the reigning French truck racing champion as well. I believe double French truck racing champion as well. But so far this season, Theo hasn't stood on the podium outright. He hasn't won a race outright either. But in his career, he's done it a good few times, at least on the podium. He's had 6 podiums from 60 starts. And he's had 1 overall race victory in the championship as well, which went down very well indeed. He is a popular character. He's a lot younger than a lot of drivers on the grid, and he shows a lot of great promise as well. It's going to be very interesting to see how his career progresses in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. He's got this man, Jamie Anderson, right behind him. Jamie's not been with us that long in the championship, to be honest, compared to a number of them that are out there as well. He actually started competing in 2018 in the championship. He's been with us for 5 years. It's the only right-hand drive truck on the grid, that as well. But Jamie came over from the British Rally Championship as well. And we all know that you've got to be bonkers to race in any sort of rallying. So clearly the bonkers side of things brought him over to truck racing as well, where we are all completely bonkers, but in the most beautiful of ways. I mean, look at the 4 of them glued together around the final corner at Le Mans in 5-ton racing trucks with 1,200 horsepower and over 5,000 foot-pound of torque. It is on another level, isn't it, truck racing? You've got Adam Lachko with what's left of his Freightliner chasing along in 5th position. That's where he finished race 1 as well. Andre Kurzim next up, then Steffi Halm. Stefan Faas in 8th position is still on for a podium in the Promoters' Cup. And then you've got Sasha Lenz recovering now into 9th place. He will get 2 points for finishing there in this race. You don't get as many championship points overall in the 2nd and 4th races of the weekend because of the reverse grid. You get 10 points for first, and then it's 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And look at Stefan Faas there, completely sideways as he comes out of the Dunlop chicane. Now they were side by side there for a moment. Norbert Kisch side by side with Jochen Hahn as they made their way around. That was on the way out up to Virage du Musée. Stefan Faas kicks the back end out once again in the Tank Pool 24 Scania. One of the most striking designs on the grid, this. But the Scania, I must admit, looks very, very boxy in comparison to some of the sort of more rounded off MANs, and especially the Freightliners as well, with their gorgeous, elegant shape with the long nose on the front. But it's close between Norbert Kisch and Jochen Hahn. There's a lot of smoke and a bit of a lock-up there in front of Stefan Faas, potentially Steffi Halm, just having a bit of a moment into Garage Vert. Now Norbert Kisch looks staying out of the hot air from the other trucks around him. He's all the way over to the left, then dives over to the right before they get on the brakes, just to keep everything cool and keep it operating at a temperature that he is happy with. And they still make their way around. And interestingly, there's been a few black smoke warnings go out. I say warnings, there's been a warning for Stefan Faas, This is for basically the emissions that come out of the truck. There are observers for this, and there are lambda sensors as well to check. And the black and white flag that you see there is going out for Stefan Faas for this. There is also Jamie Anderson and Teo Calve being surveyed for this as well. And Jamie Anderson's apparently being watched for track limits, where he's got very close in the last couple of laps as well. So they have to be very careful now, tread on eggshells or walk on eggshells. And it's great to see them still pushing on. Norbert Kish all over the back of them right now, though. And as a bit of a side note, actually, in me mentioning Jamie Anderson's rallying, Sean O'Brien, bless him, from Smart Witness, the absolute legend that he is, has very quickly found me a clip of Jamie Anderson when he's rallying, where he rolls a Mitsubishi Evo quite hard and just carries on driving as if nothing has happened. And to be honest, that sums up Jamie, and it sums up a lot of these truck drivers. They are hard as nails, as we say, up north in the UK. Teo Calve is doing a fantastic job, though, at defending this at the moment. He's putting the truck exactly where he needs to. And Jamie just hasn't quite been able to open the door yet. He's not been able to completely open the door and get through, but he knows that in the championship there will only be 1 point lost to Calve in this place. And he gained 5 on him in the Promoters' Cup earlier, so obviously a net total of 4 points gained in the Promoters' Cup in this one. The gap coming into this weekend between the two of them was 23. And we all know that it's a bit less than that now. But look, this is becoming a quintet at the front here, with Adam Lachko closing in as well. Just checking to see if there are any more warnings for track limits or for any smoking from the truck, but it doesn't seem so. As once again across the line, Teo Calve, Jamie Anderson, Norbert Kish, Jochen Hahn and Adam Lachko all glued together outside my window. We look here at the number 14 of Jose Rodriguez. And this is Jose, father of Jose Eduardo, who is racing at Zolder with us, but he's actually racing Jose Eduardo's truck, and Jose Eduardo is racing Jose's truck in the French Championship this weekend. They've basically changed the trucks around. That's why the design looks different, because on Jose's regular truck it is blue, white and red. And there is Heinrich Clemens Hecker in truck 25, currently running in 12th place. And John Newell has just crossed the line and gone after him as well. John not having the best of races now after the contact earlier on, really threw them down the order. But look at this. I hate the phrase cork in a bottle, and everybody knows it, but right now they are all glued together. And cork in the bottle is what comes to mind. Jochen Hahn showing a lot of patience here. Norbert Kish showing a lot of patience as well. You know, he's been able to stick with Jamie Anderson throughout pretty much all of this race and try and get that second position outright. But let's not forget, in their own classes, they will get separate points. So Teo Calve will get 10, Jamie Anderson will get 9. Norbert Kish will still get, overall anyway, will get 8 points. So ignore me, because Teo will get 10 overall and Jamie will get 9 overall, and then they'll get 10 and 9 in the Promoters' Cup as well. Norby, Jochen and Adam behind will actually get 8, 7 and 6 points. If that makes sense, I really hope it does. So we've got 1 lap to go after this. Teo Calve still leading them though. Jamie has a bit of a lock-up on the way into the final corner. That might give Norbert Kish a little bit of an idea that he could potentially get through. As soon as they see a chink in the armour, that's all that it can just be to undo a race, basically. Final lap of the race then. Black and white flags going out for truck number 4, which is Jochen Hahn, and then number 44, Steffi Halm, for track limits at turn 3, which is the exit of this chicane that they go into now. But Teo Calve, young Frenchman, leading at Le Mans, trying to look for his second overall win in the championship. Jamie Anderson, who came into this season with no overall victories, has 4 so far this year from these reverse grid races. He's trying to get one over on his Promoters Cup rival, the man that's currently leading the Promoters Cup as well. Double reigning French truck racing champion, Theo Calvet, for Bagheera ZM Racing in that gorgeous Freightliner. They bookend this quintet as well. It's like the quartet with Adam Lachko as the manager. Jamie tries to get around the outside, but Norbert Kish is going to try and put a stop to that. Side by side they go down towards Garage Vert, but this is great for Theo. This is exactly what he needs now. He wants the guys behind him to start battling, because that'll take the pressure off, and that'll mean that they slow each other down because they compromise one another on their racing lines to make sure they don't make contact. That's exactly what's happening, because look now, Theo's going to open this corner up and try and get away. Jamie's got to go through it slower than normal. Norby's got to try and carry the pace around the outside. He's got to let him back onto the circuit though before they get down towards the chicane at Chemin-Aubufs. And they still remain side by side once more, but Theo Calvet remains ahead. Let's see, can Norby get it done down the inside here? He's going to try not to lean on Jamie, and Jamie's going to try not to lean on him. Jamie's had to go straight on. Two of them still side by side though. Not sure there was much advantage gained there, if any. They're still side by side as they go into the S-bend right near the end of the lap. And is there going to be a touch? I feel like there is. It's so close, it's hard to call it, but Jamie's defended this really well, but it's all played into the hands of Theo Calvet, and I cannot wait to see the reaction from the crowd here as Jamie's gone wide in the final corner. But out of the final corner, indeed, it is Theo Calvet who takes a home victory here at Le Mans. That is phenomenal stuff for Theo. The crowd has gone bonkers opposite me. Epic stuff. You've got to love that. Well done, Theo Calvet. Well done, Norbert Kish gets second place. Jamie Anderson for an overall podium ahead of Jochen Hahn, Adam Lachko, Andre Kurzim, Sasha Lenz, Stefan Faas, Steffi Hallman, Jose Rodriguez, and hugs all round for Bagheera. And look at that, Fabian Calvet. I mean, he's a very passionate bloke, and he is a very emotional bloke as well. And I can totally understand that he will be an emotional wreck after that one. So proud to see his son win at their home race at Le Mans in front of a home crowd here in France. That's his second outright win of his truck racing career here in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. And after a season that has held a lot of bad luck for Theo in the second and fourth races, that's a wonderful turnaround and a fantastic result, a very popular one indeed. Big thumbs up, of course, from Bagheera. Excellent, absolutely excellent, and action-packed race as well. Plenty of tension in that fight, and look at this, look at the drifting here from Theo. You've got to love a bit of that. Fantastic car. Well, I say car control. A lot of the drivers call them cars and not trucks, so we'll go with that. Bits of bodywork flapping away. But he did everything right in that race. Absolutely everything right in that one. And you cannot knock it. So Calvet wins outright from Norbert Kish and Jamie Anderson. And then, of course, they will return onto the Promoters Cup podium as well. Theo Calvet, Jamie Anderson, and Stefan Faas, the German driver, will join them up there as well. It's already nearly 20 past 6 local time, but I can tell you now, the crowd is certainly going to stick around for the podium. There is going to be a lot of noise generated here for Theo Calvet. And what a podium to stand on as well. There's more drifting on the way into the chicane. Look at the control, the weight transfer one way, then the other. Top-notch drifting, that is Theo. And the team and Fabian very pleased. And there he is. He's saying to Norby, this is how you drift around here now, Norby, watch this. Of course, Norbert Kish going a little bit over exuberant last time he drifted around there and going off the circuit. But he's still got a second place in that race as well. And that's going to be really strong points for him. So on a day when you can normally score 30 points, Norbert Kish has scored 29. Not bad at all. Jochen Hahn scored 17 points today with his next finish. Sasha Lenz in 7th place. He'll have scored 4 points in that race. 19 total for him today. And there is the continuous round of applause and a beep of the horn for Theo Calvet. And if you think you can hear it quite loud through there, It's just when he's beeped the horn like that, that's just shaken the floor of the commentary box. That's how loud these horns are. And there's going to be the traditional awkward moment where Jamie's right-hand drive truck parks next to a left-hand drive one. But here he is. Phenomenal scenes. That means a lot to Teo Calvé, that one. The crowd opposite, like I said, is going nuts. You might not be able to hear them on the stream, but I can tell you from what I can see in the grandstand, they are loving it. Big embrace with his father. It may not be his first ever win in the championship, but that is going to mean a massive amount to Teo. And hats off to him. He works so hard. And him and the Bagheera squad really work well hand in hand. And they get the results they need. At the end of the day, he's leading the Promoters' Cup and has only lost 4 points to Jamie Anderson today. Normally the drivers don't go beyond those barriers, but stuff traditions. When you win a race on home turf, you have to enjoy the moment and embrace it. And I'm sure Teo will do that. There is Norbert Kish with Chaba and the rest of his team. More congratulations for those guys. And over the far side there, you can just see Jamie Anderson with his team as well. Big handshakes from them. Fabian Calvé. I told you, he's such a great look. He's there with Richard Kaimberger. And a big embrace. And there you go. Teo Calvé, I'm sure, will let the emotions pour out. And he's going to have a quick reaction video shot with Bagheera. And there's Jamie Anderson and his father discussing with his team what went on in that race. I'm not quite sure how it all unveiled itself in the final few corners, whether Jamie worked a little bit too hard and then got biffed off by Norby, but you can still see he's happy all the same. Big smiles all round for Jamie. And as expected, we have our race winner for the second time in his career. Race winner Teo Calvé winning on home soil with Christina for an interview.
Yes, and we're going to the wall, the winner wall it is. Excuse me, pardon, we need some space here for the race winner. Oh, Teo Calvé is on a mission. He's on a mission. Congratulations. This is the headline. Teo Calvé wins at Le Mans.
I have no words. It's just incredible. All the crew, everything. It's amazing. I'm so happy. I did a good race. I think I managed it so hard. I was struggling a little bit, but I kept the head up, and yeah, I won this. I'm so happy.
Sometimes it's more than points. It's just emotion, isn't it?
Yeah. You know, I was so unlucky this season. Like, it never happened before, and now just to win, it's just like big redemption. And even here, it's even more magic in Le Mans. It's my home race, and I'm so happy.
I don't know if you noticed it, but there's been standing ovation as you crossed start finish line, and then suddenly as you came out of the truck and cheered up to the fans. What were you thinking?
Yeah, it was amazing. Like you said, when I went out, everybody was screaming in the tribunes, and yeah, you cannot imagine the feeling I have here. It's just no word to describe. I'm so happy, and I really would like to thank my team. And we work hard this season. It's not easy, but yeah, to the fans, to my partners, family, everybody, thank you, everybody.
And you said you are a young driver, and sometimes you learn lessons. What is this for a page in the book? It's not learning also, but it's enjoying.
Yeah, each race I'm learning. Like this one, it was to keep the pressure. It was hard pressure because there was like Norbert and Jamie just behind. They were pushing hard, and yeah, I did like I could, and it worked. So it's nice.
Enjoy the champagne.
Thank you.
So as you said, Chaz, there was a quintet and they were pushing really hard, and in the end we do have a happy winner, Teo Calvé. You know, we're going to see him on the podium. I think that would be a special moment for him and all the French fans.
Yes, indeed. Absolutely amazing emotion from Teo Calvé. Awesome reaction as well, and a really, really top guy. And to be honest, not just any podium either. a podium here at Le Mans as well, one of the most legendary circuits in the world. Theo Calvé wins one of his home races here in France. Epic performance ahead of Norbert Kish, Jamie Anderson, Jochen Hahn and Adam Lachko, who all gave us a very entertaining race throughout that one. Hats off to all of them. And then we get the quintet of German drivers. Andre Kurzim ahead of Sascha Lenz, Stefan Fass and Steffi Halm. Jose Rodriguez rounds out the top 10, but ultimately just misses out on a Promoters' Cup podium. Shane Brereton finishes 11th, Heinrich Clemens Hecker in 12th, John Newell 13th, with Antonio Albacete unfortunately retiring from the race. But based on the start that we had, it's amazing we didn't have more retirements from that one. But the drivers now will make their way up to the podium, and two of these drivers are going to appear on the podium twice. So across the two podiums, we're only going to have 4 drivers. There is the fourth of them, Stefan Fass. By no means last but by no means least. He's going to be the first driver to step up onto the Promoters' Cup podium in just a few minutes' time. Norbert Kish talking through things with Jamie, and Jamie suddenly gets called up to the podium. This is his 5th overall podium of the season, and it's actually the first time this season he's been on the overall podium and not won the race. He may be on the wrong side of the podium, but still. Norbert Kish gets another podium, number 17 of the season this, and that's his 166th podium of his career. He's certainly not shy when it comes to being on the top 3 steps up here. He now makes his way back over to the other side, and let's listen to the applause as they welcome out your race winner, Theo Calvé. He's got Tony Eden from the FIA holding him back. But there is the celebration. Huge moment for Theo Calvé and for the French fans as well. Wonderful work by Lewis as well to make his way across the podium that quickly. Lovely stuff. And the trophy's being handed out now, held high by Jamie, Norbert Kish and Theo Calvé. You can see the applause in the grandstands. It's fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. They work very well with the audio here as well, with these little in-between bits, but here's the national anthem. Fantastic to hear the French national anthem ringing out around Le Mans with a French driver on the top step of the podium. And I mentioned the in-between bits a moment ago. It's probably not the best description of those little audio bites that they do, but the way that the audio system works around here at Le Mans is fantastic. It's very loud, it's very clear, and they have these little sort of noises and sound effects that they have when they announce things, and it's just awesome. I really do think that little details like that around a circuit and in the way a circuit works just adds to the occasion and adds to the event. Now we have our top 3 from the race taking their pictures on the podium. The traditional changing of the caps only happens with Norbert Kish. The other two just keep the Goodyear hats on. They get another set taken, and then it'll be time for some very well-earned champagne. Now, who's getting drenched? You can bet it's Theo Calvé. Fantastic. Absolutely fantastic. Completely outnumbered, but he deserves that. Absolutely. What a moment for Theo. Lovely stuff. Very well done to Theo Calvé. You can hear the smile, I'm sure, on my face, because it's such a popular victory with such a great young man. And and we always talk about how friendly this paddock is and how everybody gets on and one truck family. You know, it's not just a mantra that we stick by, it's genuinely something that you witness when you see this paddock and see everybody together. It's such a friendly place to be. There is Fabien Calvet as well, going up to join his son on the podium as he's interviewed. Unfortunately in French, and I don't speak very fluent French, so I cannot explain what he's on about, but I'm sure you get the gist. Norbert Kish has an 80-point advantage over Jochen Hahn in the championship. Sascha Lenz, he's a good 90 points back now, and it's looking very, very strong. As long as Norby has more than 90 points, more than everybody else, by the end of today, he could have been champion. But then we've got Adam Lachko and Antonio Albertetti behind. Jamie Anderson now moves up to 6th ahead of Steffi Halm. Then it's Theo Calvet, Andre Curzim and Shane Brereton. Back on the stats with Lucas Hahn in 11th place ahead of Stefan Faas, Jose Rodriguez, Anthony Janiak, René Reiner, Heinrich Clemens Hecker, Martin Gibson and Thomas Robineau. And we cut back to the Promoters Cup podium with Stefan Faas, Jamie Anderson and Theo Calvet taking the honours. More trophies and more champagne for at least two of them, but Stefan Faas gets another podium which he'll be very happy with. That's his 11th appearance on the top 3 steps in the Promoters Cup this season. The statistic I was supposed to come out with a moment ago about Norbert Kish is that if he is 60 points clear in the championship by the end of tomorrow, then he is the 2022 Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Champion. And there you go, the French national anthem once again for Theo Calvet, race winner outright in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. Phenomenal stuff. There'll be more pictures, more changing of the hats, and of course, more champagne coming their way. As if Theo was already not drenched enough. Stefan Faas, I know, is very good at aiming a champagne bottle. And Jamie Anderson, of course, gets Lewis, our cameraman, as he always does. There's nowhere to hide from Jamie Anderson with a champagne bottle. And they soak everyone down there in the paddock. Lewis also getting drenched as well. And it's just a fantastic vibe here this afternoon. It's been an awesome day's racing at Le Mans. It's got just an amazing spirit about any event that goes on here. And it's good to see that our championship can embrace that as well. Big hugs there from Bernard Moritz to Fabien Calvet. There's Dominic from ETRA, Janine, and even Managing Director Georg Fuchs in there as well, congratulating Theo on his overall race victory, the 2nd of his career, and the 7th time that he has stood on the podium in his 60th race as well. And it all matters for this as well, the Promoters Cup. He is now 19 points clear of Jamie Anderson, 299 points to 280 ahead of Shane Brereton in 3rd. Shane is still in with a shout as long as those engine problems get sorted ahead of Harama. Stefan Faas is 4th ahead of Jose Rodriguez, then it's Heinrich Clemens Hecker in 6th. He's quite safely clear now of Lucas Hahn, with Jonathan Andre 8th ahead of Martin Gibson 9th. Thomas Robineau still on 33 points in 10th position. Still tied, of course, with Louis Requenco. Jose Eduardo Rodriguez 12th. John Newell moves himself up into 13th overall in the Promoters Cup. Then it's Emma Mäkinen, Stefan Kirsch and Erwin Klein-Nagelvoort, who we all had at the Nürburgring earlier in the season. We'll have a quick look back now at how that race all unfolded then. Everybody lined up on the grid and got prepared with a bit of a delay to proceedings, but it was Andre Curzim and Theo Calvé that would lead the field away. Andre Curzim on pole position once again, with contact in the middle of the field between Shane Brereton and a few others. Ultimately, the race would be decided for a few early on as Sasha Lenz, Antonio Albacete, Adam Lachko, and Jose Rodriguez and a bunch of others would all get involved in a couple of incidents. It shook the order up though, and it meant that drivers like Norbert Kish could make early progress and challenge right at the front, right at the beginning, but it was Jamie Anderson and Theo Calvé locked in a Promoters Cup fight and an overall race win fight all the way through that would keep us on the edge of our seats as more and more drivers piled in behind. Jochen Hahn, who would eventually finish in 4th place, would be there for the entire race, but was of course still trying to put the pressure on Norbert Kish, and before long Adam Lachko would join in the fight as well to make it one epic quintet. The sand trap at turns 2 and 3 did not stop anybody. In the end, Norbert Kish would just take it from Jamie Anderson. However, Theo Calvé would win his home race here in France at Le Mans, his 2nd career victory in the Goodyear FIA European Truck Racing Championship. You can see there now the French Truck Racing Championship on their way back out onto track. And we have one of our podium finishers that we didn't get to speak to before. Stefan Faas is with Christina.
Yes, absolutely. He gave away the trophy and the champagne for his team and also the credits for this team.
Yes. Ja, actionreiches Rennen, würde ich sagen. Wir haben eigentlich nur gehofft, dass wir nichts abkriegen von dem Action da, was da passiert ist.
So you said, yeah, it was an action-packed race and we already hoped not to get any push from anyone over there. How did you manage to stay out? Wie hast du es geschafft, da rauszubleiben?
Ja, ich habe einmal Glück gehabt, würde ich sagen. Und beim Start ist gleich einer in mich rein am Start. Dann habe ich in der nächsten Kurve gesehen, dass ein Auto rausgeht in Kies. Und dann habe ich nur gehofft, er kommt nicht zurück so schnell. Und das hat mir dann noch durchgereicht. Dann kam man in die nächste Kurve, dann stand einer quer vor uns. Dann habe ich gesehen, rechts ist eine Lücke, dann bin ich da reingefahren. Und ja, so bin ich eigentlich recht gut durchgekommen. Leichte Blessuren haben wir leider, aber das müssen wir jetzt halt wieder richten für morgen.
So it was kind of the movie he told me right now. So at first he got touched by someone, then there was someone out on the right-hand side on the gravel, and then someone stood directly in front of him. So you saw just, okay, I need to go over there to don't get anyone nearby me, don't get locked up. Ja, morgen gibt es natürlich noch ein Rennen. He said they have to do some little repairs up to tomorrow, aber das ist alles, das kriegt ihr alles gefixt.
Ich denke schon, wir kriegen das hin. Wir hoffen halt, dass morgen vielleicht haben wir schönes Wetter wieder und kein Regen und ja, dann läuft es.
Super, danke dir, schönen Abend. So he says, yeah, we're very happy and looking forward to tomorrow. Hopefully the weather conditions would be fine because as I told you yesterday evening, it was really, really rainy, and of course this had an impact on the racetrack here at Le Mans. But Stefan Faas is optimistic, and we are too. Thank you very much. That was just day one here at Le Mans with a French driver, and he said, Chaz, as you have mentioned, he said, merci à vous. Without you, it would not have been possible to the audience there on the podium. So I say merci à vous that you always stick with us throughout this championship. But still a couple of races yet to come we're really looking forward to. So see you tomorrow then on Sunday, joining us on our live streams, please. Huge and massive shout outs to our commentators, Charles Dreikert and Joachim Eberts, and throughout the whole championship it's been fun working with you guys, and shout out to the team behind the scenes of course as well, and in Neumarkt where our editors are at and our directors. So everyone, great to be back here at Le Mans and see you soon. So à bientôt. Merci beaucoup.